My name is Mike Konstantas, co-founder of New Wave Capital. Joined Jake and Gino a little over 3 years ago now. And I got to say, besides marrying my wife, it's probably been the best 3 years of my life. So appreciate you guys.
What's made it the best 3 years of your life? Honestly, let's dive into that for like 10 seconds.
I think, getting into it and kind of getting over those limited beliefs of, can I do this? How can I do it? As you said, I worked with my father for many, many years, and he was sort of anti-partner for a lot of the time that I was with him. And so for me, going into this, as much as I resonated with your story and what you've accomplished with Jake, it was always, I got to do this by myself. And that's kind of, I think that slowed me down in the early few months of us joining, because it was always, okay, this is the market I'm going into, but it's what kind of deal can I qualify with what I have and what kind of money we're making, not let me find partners that I can partner with in order to get above and beyond what I could have qualified for at that point. So I think just knocking that belief out the window, and this past year and a half, has been a roller coaster. Part of it being tough, part of it being great, and it's just a testament to the dedication, the hard work, and what you guys are putting together, and what we can, kind of bounce off of each other in order to get us where we want to be. So.
Love that. Mark Twain, I love his quote. It's not what you don't know that's going to get you in trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. And sometimes, Mike, when we have the limiting belief, yourself and myself included, I need to do this myself. I can't use a partner. I only got to qualify for what I have. The scarcity mindset. I only can do it in New York. I've got to touch the properties. That could hold you back for a long time until you pull back the curtain and you join the community, and all of a sudden you see other people doing deals, and they're structuring deals, and they're working really well together. And you have a certain skill set that complements that partner, and having that ability to see that and the accountability that comes along with it. To me, it was eye-opening. And I was like, wow, okay, I don't have to do everything. Jake moved down to Knoxville. It wasn't in my backyard. I trusted him. I grew the partnership.
Kept me out of jail a few times with some crazy residents, so it goes both ways, man.
Let's not go down that road, my friend. But it just that accountability and knowing that you can do that can change your mindset completely all of a sudden. And a big shout out to my brother, Mark, if he's on here, because I know Mark, loves you. He's always texting between me and say, Mikey K's got another deal. He's rocking it and this and that. And I know he's really, a big advocate of yours as well. So I just want to make sure that, share the love, because my brother really, really appreciates and loves what you're doing as well. So
thanks. So this is our team.
Our house.
Partner, Wade Smith, is actually the first person partner, I guess you could say, that we started looking at deals together with. It's the same time that I met your brother down at one of the money mixers. It is very, very similar to my wife as far as their mentality. I'll talk to my wife about something, and then I'll run it by him, and he's like, yeah, I would have said the same thing. So it's like, I talk to him, I talk to her, it's one and the effing same, So then my partner Duran Rice, great guy, loves a pair of padded bike shorts, avid biker. This guy's amazing. Chris Weiser, what can I say? Loves Disney World. So
he's probably down there with Johnny G. Johnny G.
One in every group. I was going to say
yes.
the same thing, right?
Psychos in Disney, huh?
Yep. And the group has recently named me Mr. Mom, since I've transitioned to full-time real estate and juggling art classes and swimming lessons with the kids. So I wouldn't have had it any other way. It's something that my father was never able to do with us, and it's something that is very dear to my heart, that I could do it for them. So,
and you're in a challenging business. We didn't jump into that, but you're in New York. You're in the construction business. It was very cyclical, very hands-on, mom and pop-ish. Your dad didn't really want to grow the systems. You're stuck there. You made a great living, correct? Yeah. But you had the ups and downs. Some months were busy, some months were slower. It was cyclical. You weren't sure. You couldn't grow the business. COVID comes, the uncertainties. And I think it's been a testament to 3 years ago, you could have said, it's not right for me right now. I'm starting a family. I just got married. I've got this business that I'm running in New York. I'm too busy. And that didn't stop you. So that's a
Yeah, I
testament
mean,
to the hard work.
we were blessed with the customers that we had that, they had multiple locations. We did custom woodwork mostly for the restaurant industry. And if we were slow, we were able to reach out to people and say, hey, can you find us work to keep the guys busy? So we weren't getting rid of people. So it wasn't so much the clients that were the issue, it was more the employees that became the issue, and caused me to start looking for another way. I didn't want to have just that as my source of income. I wanted to be able to have other streams of revenue. All of my clients that were where I wanted to be at some point in time always had real estate. It was one of the things on top of the restaurants, the supermarkets, the office buildings that they had, was just owning property and being able to, rent, whether it was office space, apartment space, whatever the case may be. So why Jake and Gino? I mean, there's a ton of stuff that we could say here, but the first and main point was to get in the right room with the right people. You want to be able to accomplish something in life. You want to do it alongside of the people that are doing it themselves, not just preaching it, but are actually practicing what they preach. And you guys are definitely doing that. Getting the access to different resources through our journey, whether it's vendors that you guys are open to us sharing, coaches, the mentorship, the community. Your story, Gino, as you know, again, very similar to mine. I feel like, other than the fact that, you were selling pizza and, me selling wood, it very, very, very similar. As I touched on in the beginning as well, mind shift for me, I think, was one of the biggest things that I took away from joining the group. I was going to do everything kind of mentality, and it was just a very difficult thing to do this type of business in that fashion, right? With the community, we've gotten the tools and the confidence needed to evaluate and put offers on deals. One of the biggest things that I've learned was that the commercial real estate is actually easier than, doing the residential small stuff.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because
Yep.
the emotions in residential real estate are insane. That's one of the reasons, like, I just few experiences buying houses, completely cuckoo. I'm not saying that there's no emotions on the commercial side, but it's a lot more numbers based, and I feel like it's a lot more objective than the stuff that's going on in residential. So that's why I prefer.
Jake.
More scalable
It's
too,
more
but
scalable.
creepers,
Yeah.
people can get nuts on these houses.
Yeah.
I think for me, the biggest thing on top of that was being self-employed, right? You want to go buy a rental, a condo, right? That I had that was cash flowing, even with the mortgage, cash flowing $400 or $500 a month. I mean, they would ask for everything under the sun, including your firstborn child, in order for you to qualify for a loan. And it's, oh, you're self-employed. So in that mind, you're not going to work as hard as someone who's a W-2 employee to pay off a mortgage that you got, right? The person that's getting a W-2 is going to work harder than someone that has their own business. It sort of never made sense to me. When we closed our first deal, which is the deal that I'll be talking about, it was something as simple as, you're filling out a spreadsheet of your experience, your income, and what you've owned, and that was it. No questions, no tax returns, no W-2s, W-4s, none of that stuff. So the coaches have been amazing. The community members have been great. And, last but not least, every one of my partners I met through the community. Duran, I met first, then Gwaith, and Gwaith introduced me to Chris. And similar to what Nick and Jamie said, that, me and Gwaith and my wife jumped on a plane, flew into Louisville. We kind of toured those markets. I was in both of those deals that you guys had there, and we kind of used that to piggyback off of what we were, started out looking at first. And we met a broker. He introduced us to something just over the river down in South Indiana, and that's where we landed, the first deal. So
all right, let's jump into that first deal.
There's difference on being on the other side of the river there. I'd take Indiana over Western Kentucky right now. So
it's funny because when we actually met the broker for breakfast, and he came to market like a week or so before we got there, and he mentioned it at breakfast, and we kind of looked at each other and like, who the hell wants to be in South Indiana, and it was sort of like not even on the radar. and literally it was 3 minutes from where we were, and we went and we toured it, and
Nice looking deal too.
yeah, we saw, two great looking buildings, solid brick buildings, which is, really nice. One right across the street from one another. One building was completely remodeled. The other one hadn't been touched. All one bedrooms, around 650 square feet each. There was a mixture of laundry rooms, plus some units had laundry inside. There's a huge new development, commercial space that's been built, 6,000 acres of prime land. They're doing industrial spaces for various companies to come in there. Path of Progress is something that we saw when we were there as well. Part of our due diligence, we actually sat and met with city councilmen and also the economic development group, and they had mentioned about their plan to throw in millions of dollars redoing the roads and the main corridor, which is about 2 blocks from the property. So that was very impressive for us, and part of what led us to be really interested in the deal and kind of move forward with it. So this is kind of some of the numbers here. Purchased it for 1.865. We brought the average rents from about 605 up to 675. We were able to implement RUBS, do pet deposits, pet fees, pet rent, rebranded. We initially started off with a Freddie Mac 2 years of IO loan at a 4.32, which stings in today's market. But we were able to improve the operations, decrease the expenses. Currently in the process of doing a refi out, so kind of lining it up with year 2. We closed this January, will be 2 years. Our refi appraisal came in at 3.1. So
you're in a 44 door, nothing stinging on this one, all right? You're doing just fine, my man.
So you're refining, this appraisal is coming in at 3.1. You're going to be pulling all of your capital out and then some, correct?
Yeah. We all, we put in, I want to say about 112 each into it. Initial numbers were coming in at around 170, 175 each out. So.
All right.
What year was this? It looks like, was it 90s?
No, the building is actually a 71 build.
It looks great. I mean, it looks great for 71, man.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
They're very nice looking buildings. We did have, some of the electrical upgrades with the panels and stuff like that, that needed to be done and whatnot. But nice, solid looking buildings is kind of the first thing that when we pulled up to it, we were, very impressed and with what we saw from the outside. And it was like, all right, let's dig in. Great the fact that we went kind of on a whim because we were looking at things and it was one of those things that, like, you guys preach it, right? You got to get to the market in order to really know the market. And I called Gwait and I said, let's book some flights. My wife came with us and we stayed down in Louisville for 2 days, toured a bunch of properties, toured the neighborhoods, ended up looking at this just from the exterior. Liked what we saw on this side of the river as opposed to down in Louisville. And this has sort of been one of the primary focuses for us now. This market deal flow has been relatively quiet, but we are looking to continue to expand here as well if we can. So
this is great. It's the buy right, manage right, and finance right. You bought the deal right. You bought at the right numbers. It's a good build, good solid build. You had the valuation through operation. You managed the property correctly. You had actually great debt because you're seeing that you're going to refi this thing out. So you've also had your exit strategy already planned out as well. So you've implemented that 3-step framework. You're going to pull all your money out. Now you're going to have an asset that's left over that can be generational, that you can hold this for the long term and continue to cash flow on this, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I think going into it, that was the plan. Obviously, as we've learned, if someone comes along and, waves a blank check, so to speak, then it might be something that, we'd be open to getting rid of. But, for now, the goal is to, to hold this long term. So.
Hey, you may have some takers on the call. What's a blank check look like to you? Is it like $4?
Nope.
Higher? Keep
I have
going.
a bunch of zeros in that one. So.
No, like 4 million?
I don't know.
Maybe he gets it done. Maybe he doesn't. All right.
So this was one of the interior kind of layouts that we did as part of our marketing package. Once we started doing some of the renovations, it's what we've used for, different pamphlets, websites, things like that. And that's it. Contact us. Feel free. Anybody happy to jump on a call. Cell phone number is there. My email address is there. The 168 Capital Group was me and my wife prior to New Wave turning into a full-blown company. But we're doing the website and stuff for New Wave as well. And again, if there's anybody that wants to reach out, see what we're doing, or kind of look at some of the other deals that we're getting into, cell phone numbers there. So feel free to reach out.